Now, let's install our first course of siding.
Slide the first panel into the corner post pocket and be sure you have allowed proper spacing. If the temperature is over 40 degrees, allow a space of 1/4 inch between siding and trim at each end of the siding panel for expansion. If it's 40 degrees or under, allow 3/8 of an inch spacing at each end or a total of 3/4 of an inch.
Next, lock the panel into the starter strip and begin nailing at the center of the panel, working toward the ends. This helps maintain a level line. Nailing is one of the most important installation steps. While other sidings are nailed tight, vinyl siding and accessories must be nailed loose so they have room to expand and contract. Without room for movement, vinyl siding can develop an unsightly wavy appearance called oil canning. For proper nailing, position nails in the centers of the nail slots. If necessary, elongate the slot using a nail hole punch. Space nails no more than 16 inches apart and always drive the nail into solid wood. Drive nails straight in and never at an angle. Nails should be fastened into studs 3/4 of an inch. Building code requires a 3/4 inch wood penetration. In most cases, this means fastening into studs. And to allow panels to move freely, leave about a 1/16 of an inch between the nail head and the nailing flange. Finally, never face nail a panel. This will prevent any panel movement whatsoever. It takes a little longer to hang the first course of siding because you have to do some planning and figuring along the way. But once this course is in place, you can really pick up the pace. Joining panels end to end is done by overlapping the panels 1 inch. This provides room for expansion at the joints. Try to always use factory notches. When you have to cut a panel to length, you must duplicate the factory cut notch at the top and bottom of the siding panel. This too will help prevent oil canning, but more importantly, it will lead to a beautiful installation. The STUDfinder installation system is a great way for you to quickly and accurately find the next stud when installing siding. The nail slots are positioned at 16 and 24 inches on center to allow for alignment with studs. See the graphics at each nail slot? Here's how it works. Locate the first stud and fasten the panel in the center of the nail slot. Notice which letter appears at each nail slot. Move along the panel to the next time that letter appears. There will be a stud under it. This is how it works for nailing 16 inches on center. For 24 inches on center nailing, we will have 2 letters repeating at every other stud. In other words, if the first stud is located at the small d, go to the next small d and count 5 letters. The next stud is at U. Then to the small d again, the letter U again, and so on. Where panels lap, of course, overlap 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Following panels may not use the same letter as the first panel. Simply measure 16 inches from the last nail and find the starting point and letter for the next panel. Installing siding panels under windows requires these easy steps. First, hold the panel in place and mark the width of the window opening. Be sure to add 1/4 of an inch to each side to allow for expansion and subtract 1/4 of an inch from under the window. Install undersill trim inside the J-channel below the windowsill. Align the nail slots of each and nail accordingly. Cut the panel. Use a snap lock punch to raise tabs. Then slide the panel into the undersill trim so it locks on the tabs. The procedure is similar when fitting panels above windows and doors. To fit siding under eaves and at gable ends, you need to measure and cut carefully. In most cases, the siding course installed directly under an eave will have to be rip cut to fit. Follow these steps to assure accuracy. If you're going to install soffit, first apply F-channel. Next, install J-channel along the eave and then utility trim. You may need to add a furring strip under the utility trim if the panel will be cut near a butt edge. The alternative way to handle trim at an eave is to use dual undersill trim. Dual undersill trim takes the place of the combination of utility trim in a J-channel with furring strips. Simply nail the dual undersill trim up under the F-channel and it receives the siding, whether it's trimmed near the lock or the butt of the panel. Measure from the soffit or eave to the base of the upper lock on the previous course of panels. Subtract 1/4 inch. Mark this dimension on the panel to be cut. Rip cut the panel using this dimension. Then punch tabs and install. Now let's finish off the gable end. First, make a pattern that duplicates the gable slope by locking a short panel into position and placing another along the slope. Mark the angle, unlock the panel, and cut. Now, use this pattern to cut other panels and install to the top. Secure the top panel with a single nail. This is one of the very few times that face nailing is appropriate.